What are some of the thoughts and ideas that you're having around culture in your organization right now that you'd want to share with our audience?
That's a wide open, broad statement to begin with. I think that we're in weird times still, yeah. And when I think back to some of my quote unquote glory years, I want to say 5 years ago, pre-pandemic, where the economy was strong, where people were really happy in the jobs that I was working with at that stage, compared to now, where we're all still a little foggy still as to where we've been and where we are going. Culture is a really interesting concept, right? Because who is defining culture? Is it our people that are defining our culture, or is it our job as a leader in the marketplace in whatever industry you're in to start to redefine what culture is for you as an organization? And so they're the handles that I've grabbed this year, Joey and Sommer, as to if we want to make this a great place to work, and I can talk about the business in a second, we really have to lead from the front. And in doing so, we have to take a little bit of interest as to why people are still here, and then really give them some strong buckets to sit in and or handles to grab on as we run them forward. And so we've kind of redefined not only our value system this year, which is still under real development to be launched in 2023, but from a people experience, from a people operations, from a people or just HR, thinking of that side of the business, we really want to define what it is to work here based on what you've told us on why you're still here.
That's great. That's great. So a season of listening and taking that data, whether it's anecdotal or if there are data points associated with it by way of maybe some surveys or things of that nature, and figuring out what's the secret sauce of your culture. That's awesome.
So what's cool for the organization that I work at now, it's influencing marketing, right? Influencer marketing, excuse me. So it's the new billboard. It's where we pay the influencers to go and advertise what the companies want to advertise and campaign, etc. And so I've got some really savvy people that I work alongside with, that I get to partner with every day. And so, how do you how do you inspire those that are inspiring, right? How do you influence the influencers? And so what we did was we defined, and it's simple and it's not really original, I wouldn't say. I mean, we didn't create the words, or I've seen this concept in a number of different companies that I've worked in. We just kind of or I wanted to say we repackaged it to work for us. And this is very internal facing. So if you're listening to this, we're not pushing this outwards. But this is more to our people during our all hands or town halls or whatever you want to call it. And that is really the three basic parts of life at our company is connection. That's number one. How do I, as the HR professional, as the people leader, connect you with your role, and therefore you with your job, and therefore you with your team, right? And then within the team, how do we connect that team furthermore to the company? So connection's our number one bucket or handle. The second one is collaboration, which is similar but different. How do we help you within your role collaborate? How do we help you within your team and team to team collaborate? And then how, as a company, are we giving the environments or providing the environments for people to just feel like they can collaborate every single day? And then the third one, and this one's the big one, the one that I like doing. So it's connection, collaboration. The third one's celebration. So our 3 C's. How are you celebrated in your role every day? How do we celebrate your teams? And boy, how as a company can we continue to celebrate the good work, the bad times, the good times? How do we continue to celebrate people for being people, no matter what background, no matter what function you're in at the company?
I love it. I love it. Summer, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's amazing work that you've been doing, Chicka. And outside of this conversation, you and I were talking about an event that you hosted recently, and some of the cool things that your team did that I think, really touch on some of those values that you mentioned. And so, can you spend a little bit of time talking about the high level activities that you did, and what came out of it in terms of the intended results and then the actual results?
So cool. So cool. I'm so excited that you asked about this. So we had a bit of budget money left over from last year that we didn't spend. We were meant to do a retreat this year that didn't come to fruition. And then you come past June, July, and the brakes are coming on because are we hitting a recession? So I had a little bit of budget to play with this. So listeners, as you hear this, don't freak out, okay? the first thing we did was, wouldn't it be cool as if we sent our people some swag? Just some, typical, whether it's a sweatshirt. We ended up getting some vests for everybody. We put them all in a package, wrapped them up. And another piece of and you can't see it right behind me here, another piece of our culture is we develop call signs for each other. And so after you've been here for 90 days, a tradition, part of the connection and collaboration and celebration here is to celebrate your 90-day with a call sign, welcome to the team. And so for many of our team, they did not have these plates made. So we put this in the box with the swag. We sent it out with a big "do not open" sign on it. So these poor employees received this thing that they're, oh my gosh, somebody mailed me this cool thing. And it says, just put by your desk, until this particular date. The date gets pushed, so now they're going to wait an extra month. We finally arrive at the day.
Now, Chicka, I'm totally derailing a bit, but that's, as an employee, that's scary, right? We're in the age where people are like getting laid off by Zoom in mass, so that's a little scary, but it's fun. It's building the anticipation. I love it. Let's keep going. I'm locked in.
No, you're good. You're good. And thankfully, a month ago we weren't as what we're seeing in the news today. But what was cool, we did set this up out loud, so everybody knew what we were doing. We were aiming towards this fall festival celebration, so it was truly positioned as a festival. Then what they didn't know until about a week before it arrived, we had gone and rented VR Meta headsets for every single person in the organization, had them hand delivered to the door via FedEx. And then on the very day, the fall festival day, I think it was at 2:00 on a Thursday, we ended up doing it, 2:00 Eastern time. Everybody put on their headsets and we all entered this. Well, excuse me, let me back up. We all got on a Zoom call first and we had this big kickoff. We played some really, really fun. The CEO was there too. We played these games like whoever can provide 2 shoelaces with 2 different colors right now first wins this. And so all of these people are doing this massive scavenger hunt around their houses. We then put on the virtual headset and we get into this virtual world, meta world, where everything is branded our company and we're all hanging out with teammates with avatars. So I had a pumpkin head and I'd run into you and you have a box head. And then we go over to Sommer in the corner and she's like flossing because she's just amazed at how she can now do a dance, in the virtual. We're playing basketball. Then we're going to go shoot dragons. We're going to go do paintball. It was just an hour and a half of epic proportions. Meanwhile, by the way, this is probably not an HR thing. I asked everybody to leave the Zoom running. Uh-huh. So our marketing team we're influencers, right? Having an absolute field day, watching everybody blindfolded, running into walls, slaying dragons on the Zoom call, like their butts up in the face. Like nobody had a clue, you'd forget. And then after that, we all came together and then we opened up that big pop. And they all got to hold up their sweatshirts and check it out. And everyone it was a very big engagement push for us for the month of October.
That is so cool, Chicka. Yeah, you got to invite us to the party next time.
Come on. And I can give you all of the show notes so that you can put the links to all of these great ideas too, and link out to some of the vendors. There were some very helpful vendors during this process.
Oh my goodness, yes. So no, that is incredibly awesome, and I love a few themes that I gathered from what you said is reinvesting budget into your team experience, which is huge. We think about the idea of so many people leaving and turnover being high, and the uncertainty of the markets, which you alluded to a few moments ago. But to say, we're doubling down on our team and we want to create a fun moment, that's incredibly huge. And then it's a show for another time, but the experience together in the metaverse for an hour and a half, definitely want to. We've talked about that, but want to do that in a public setting. But and then just like what you capture from your marketing team, that could be a part of employer branding and recruiting and.
Yep. And you don't understand how many messages we've got on LinkedIn after putting that out. And the CEO actually emailed me saying that 3 people have come to him saying, hey, we used to work for you. Can you please hook us up with, because we want to try and do that as well. So it's been really, really a cool ripple effect of connection, collaboration, and celebration.
So Chicka, how are you going to top that for your next event?
You know me well enough, Sommer. You know that we don't come all the way out with everything. But we've definitely got some ideas. We've got some ideas. Whether it's with this vendor or another, we've definitely got some ideas.
That sounds
Oh, I
incredible.
can't wait to hear about it.
Well, we won't steal your thunder or add any more commentary. I think that's a great moment to encapsulate about the importance of culture and celebrating your team. So we'll make it the focus of this conversation. But for those, maybe on a practical tip, we could close it on a practical tip. What are some additional things that someone could do today, tomorrow, or plan for a week out or a month out to celebrate their team in this season, considering this is the season of gratitude and celebration and things? What are some quick things you could recommend for folks that want to celebrate their teams?
Yeah, I mean, and coming back all the way back to our earlier topic on depletion, I think that one of the great things that people appreciate is when they hear about the good stuff as well as the bad stuff. And I know that stands from a parent talking to their kids. Gosh, I got some conversations from the round table upstairs last night. But it was interesting to watch my wife after the discipline, after the kind of throwdown, it was following it up with, but here's some really good things that are happening. And I think that as a manager looking to their direct reports, as an individual contributor, we know the brain research shows that when we give, we actually light up as well. And so that idea of celebrating others is actually celebrating yourself, because you feel good after you celebrate somebody else. So moving into this holiday season, I mean, we've got a small budget for holiday celebrations. And we're doing a Christmas swap whereby I think we're giving $30 to $50 to certain employees to go and buy a white elephant gift, if we're allowed to say that nowadays, I don't know. And then we're actually having a live online cookie swap party, not cookie swap, a white elephant gift swap, but we are helping our people choose the gift, pay for the gifts, excuse me. So they don't feel responsible like they have to do it, but it's us celebrating them to have a great time and hopefully a great swap event as well. So whether it's a small budget or a nothing budget, I mean, nothing goes past just saying thank you to people at this time of year. And again, being intentional, whether that is writing it down, because you usually send an email, maybe you write it down, right, on a physical card. Maybe you just try different ways to share the love that way. There's plenty of ideas and ways that we can do that.
Awesome. Well, this has been Sommer, please you go. I won't have the last word. I'll let you two have the last word, and then we'll close it out. But this has been great. Sommer, you have any thoughts about celebrating the team?
I really just some commentary. Chicka, it's amazing to see the work that you've done and hear about these ideas. And I hope that our listeners are inspired. I know they will be, but I hope that they're inspired to celebrate their team. And, I think, the overarching message that I took away from this is that teams that have fun together really function well, right? Like if you're having a good time, like when you're in those tougher moments, those stressful moments, when, you're having those ego depleted moments, at the end of the day, if you know that you're going to be having fun together, I think it just makes it that much easier to get through those tough times.
I love that you just said, you put the fun in function, Sommer. You put the fun in function. What? That was great.
What can I say?